I recently watched the documentary The Great Hack, and it's a documentary that was recently released on Netflix. And it looks at Cambridge Analytica and the repercussions of data mining concerning the 2016 presidential election and the Brexit election. A brief introduction to data mining. Data mining is your digital fingerprint on the internet. So, whenever you log in, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, even Google, you create this digital fingerprint that lets companies know who you are and they can track you in this way, even without using cookies, which was a technology used even as recently as a few years ago. Data mining can look at what you like, what you don't like, what you're posting on the internet, and your friends and friends of friends and what they like and they don't like. It's incredibly expansive and it creates this personality identity that companies can later use to micro target ads to you. So, the Great Hack looks at data mining and the ways that this micro targeting is used to change the way you think. So, for example, with the Cambridge Analytica Facebook scandal, what they did was they looked at each person's individual fingerprint online and they targeted swing voters and people who they felt could be influenced by their tactics. So they spread propaganda, and you actually probably have seen a lot of what they were using. There was a lot of the lock her up campaigns, um, there was anti immigration, and a lot of fear mongering, really. And the same was used with Brexit in the UK. They targeted people who may have posted something that was possibly racist, possibly anti immigration, and they would take what they knew about you and they would use ads that were specifically targeted for people who have the exact or similar online personality as you do. They didn't bother with people who were very stuck in their beliefs. If they were a hard right person, they didn't really look to them. And if they were a hard left person, they kind of ignored them. But anyone who was considered moderate or a swing person was targeted. So, as I briefly mentioned, Cambridge Analytica is a data mining site, and they used information that they garnered from Facebook in order to create these online profiles. And lately, they and Facebook have been in the news, especially when it comes to foreign interference in the US election, because Cambridge Analytica's parent company is located in the UK, and that's where all of the data was processed through, was in the UK. So the platforms in which I chose to conduct my discussion was Twitter, Reddit, and YouTube. I thought that these platforms would be really interesting. I like Twitter because you can find a headline and respond to it. I love Reddit because it's such a huge discussion forum and people are constantly commenting and discussing ideas, whether those ideas are informed or uninformed. And I also like the idea of using YouTube because I think that it's important to find a forum where people are going to have some prior knowledge. So, for example, I chose a video that explained what the Facebook Cambridge Analytica scandal was about. So, in Reddit, I chose to use the Great Hack trailer as my platform, and I wrote an article in which I wrote a post in which I described how I've actually used online data points in the past to target people, and my use of the Facebook algorithm, in which you can choose, I want a person who likes Donald Trump and also likes the band Paramore, for example, and you can micro target those exact people, even if those two things don't seem to have any kind of relationship. So I chose to use Reddit and I just waited for responses. It took a while, especially because the Great Hack isn't well known yet. So if you look at this screen capture, there's only 194 comments, which on Reddit, that's almost nothing. And then I looked at Twitter, and again, there wasn't much to be said as far as discussion posts go. And I think that that's really important for this topic because it's not discussed and it's a very confusing topic that people don't really know much about. And so that's why I wanted to focus on this issue because I wanted to bring it to light. So I really like the Economist article that I chose because it wasn't wholly praising the Analytica documentary. So I thought that that was really interesting to have different opinions. And lastly, I used YouTube because the I liked the fact that I could find a video like posted by The Verge where it just explained it. And this was posted over a year ago, so there was quite a few more comments. And one of the things I really liked was that they had the discussion question, do you plan to delete Facebook? And I chose to end that discussion with, there is a saying that if a website product is free, such as Facebook or Google, then that's not the product being sold. You are. And I like that saying because it 100% encompasses what data mining is. Why didn't I choose to use Facebook? For the exact same reason that Cambridge Analytica used Facebook. There is so much disinformation out there. Not that there isn't disinformation on the other websites, but on the other websites, I was able to post on articles and existing videos. Whereas with Facebook, I was worried that I would get a lot of uninformed and confused responses. And my responses were touch and go. There were a lot of people who were very know-it-all and said that when you use the internet, you sign up for this. And there were a lot of people who were just flabbergasted that this was even happening. So my call to action here would be to do your research, be vigilant, and start a dialogue.